Hello, it's Herschel. Hope you're having a good day. Appreciate you joining me for this video as we look at Lazarus come forth. The text we'll be looking at is John chapter 11 from about verse 34 down through 53. But I invite you to go and read this in its entirety in your leisure time, if you would, as we're just kind of going to be scanning over it for this lesson. But leading up to this, Jesus has learned that his friend Lazarus is sick, and he stays away purposely so he can work this miracle to show the power of God, and that God works through him. And so when he gets there, we'll pick up at about verse 34, John chapter 11. And Jesus asked, "Where have you laid him?" And they said, "Lord, come and see." And during this time, they're weeping. So in verse 35, it says Jesus wept. He weeps also. And then in verse 39, he tells them to take the stone away. And Lazarus' sister Martha, she says, "Lord, he's been dead 4 days. He's going to stink. There's going to be a stench." But that didn't bother Jesus. He told them to take the stone away, and so they did. In verse 41, Jesus says, "And they took away the stone from the place where the dead man was laying, and Jesus lifted up his eyes and says, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. And I know yet that you always hear me. But because of the people who are standing by, I said this, that they may believe that you sent me." So Jesus is saying this on purpose so that the people will know that God sent him, that what he's doing is from the Father. The Father sent Jesus. Jesus is doing his will. Now verse 43. "And when he had said these things, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. And he who had been dead came out bound in his grave clothes, wrapped from all about his face and his body." And Jesus says, loose him and let him go. Unwrap him, get him out of those grave clothes and let him go. Do me a favor and like this video and share it with others if you would. I'd appreciate it. Now this miracle that the people had just witnessed, and it was indeed a miracle. Jesus had raised a man from the dead that had been dead in the grave, sealed up for 4 days. So yes, it was indeed a miracle. After this miracle occurred, verse 46, it says, "Some went away to the Pharisees and told them what Jesus did." In verse 47, it says, "Then the chief priests and the Pharisees gathered a council and said, What shall we do? For this man works many signs." We've got to do something. This man is doing too many good things, too many signs, too many wonders, too many miracles. We can't put up with this. Verse 48 says, if we let him alone like this, everyone will believe in him, and the Romans will come and take away both our place and our nation. So they'd rather get rid of the Son of God than to allow themselves to lose their place and their standings within the nation. They're afraid that Rome's going to come in with troops and take away their place. They're standing as a nation. Caiaphas, being high priest that year, said to them, "You know nothing at all." He's got it figured out. It's in verse 50. "Nor do you consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and not that the whole nation should perish." It's been that way at the Passover. One man would die, someone be released. And so from that day on, they plotted to put him to death, verse 53. This was the best response of the Pharisees and the chief priests and some of the people, was to put Jesus to death because he was doing too many signs and wonders and miracles, too many good things. Too many people was following him and paying attention to him and listening to him, that kind of thing. So they had to get rid of him. They wanted to get rid of Jesus. We must kill this man. We must have him put to death. How many times have you put Jesus to death? How many times have you rejected him? How many times have you heard the gospel and rejected that gospel? Not been obedient to it? Or have you wanted something your way and not done it God's way? You know, we can be just as guilty as these chief priests and these scribes and Pharisees, you know, and putting Jesus to death as they were. We just have to be disobedient, disloyal. You know, send me a message. I'll be glad to study with you and let's learn Scripture together. Please leave any comments or questions below. I invite you to like this video and share it with others if you would. And follow my Facebook group, The Truth, and follow me on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. I'd appreciate it if you would. And thanks for watching, and hope you're having a good day.